In this video, we're going to tell you who every Premier League team's key player will be this season. That may not always be the best player, by the way, just so you know before you get bloody keyboard warriors. I know what you like. Now, these will be the players that play week in, week out, okay? Consistently turn up, and they are vital to each system. Also, remember, this is part 3 of the Premier League Guide series. Make sure you watch the previous videos on what each team's strengths and weaknesses are. Let's begin. Arsenal. Bukayo Saka, pound for pound, the most important player in the Premier League. If you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. You light up my life with how good you are at only 21 years old, Bukayo Saka, especially with that yummy smile that you have. Yeah, I said yummy. Yeah, it's a new season. Yeah, it's the same old words that make you cringe. Let's move on. Look at the Arsenal squad and you realise that they have quality backups in every single position, apart from one. Right wing. Okay, they have the likes of Reece Nelson, who I like, and Trossard, who I really like, and maybe even Vieira, who I quite like. They're all capable of playing there, but none of them are capable of playing the role just quite like Saka. The beauty of Saka is that he's so tactically malleable in being a player that can come short and receive the ball or play outrageously high up the pitch. You know, sneak him in behind. Last season, Saka received a total of 520 progressive passes. The next highest total was Martinelli with 350. I'm getting out of breath because this guy's good, all right? And he's key. This shows how important he was to Arsenal last season in terms of being that talismanic figure this season. He's a year older and he's come off the back of a stellar season. He's only going to get more important to those sweet, sweet Gunners. Aston Villa, get your boobies out. And by that I mean Boubacar Kamara. Without him, the system would crumble. Last season, Villa rotated between a 4-4-2 and a 4-2-3-1 under Emery, but as we alluded to in part 1, what, you've not seen it yet, we'll watch it after this, Villa may play a slightly different formation this season based on what we saw in pre-season. This formation could allow them to bring in a midfield 3 of Luiz, Tielemans and Kamara. Tielemans and Luiz may play as attacking 8s, and this means that Kamara will have such an important role when it comes to sort of hoovering up loose balls, and without him doing... Why did I laugh at that? Why did I laugh at hoovering up loose balls? And without him doing this to a high level, the system it's going to take a significant hit. It's going to be a significant weakness in transition. Last season, he averaged 3.9 tackles and interceptions per 90, which is a ludicrously good amount of interceptions and tackles. But this season, playing in that new system, these numbers, they could skyrocket. Bournemouth, Dominic Solanke, the head of the press. So, remember that film, what was it called? I haven't actually watched it, but I get the concept of it. I saw the trailer for it. Human Centipede. Yeah, so the person at the front of the centipede is deemed to be the most important to the whole entity. Yeah, stay with me. And this is exactly the same for Bournemouth and Dominic Solanke. So as the solo striker, he'll be the leader of the press in a sense, and will be the player that starts a lot of the pressing actions, and will have to be very intelligent in knowing what his triggers are. Iraola likes a pressing system. You're going to see that, okay? How effectively he does this will lead to the success of the whole system. And maybe the team. Brentford, Yoane Wissa, he's going to replace Tony's goals. The guy scores goals, and we've already spoken about how Mbeumo's role will change. I think he's going to get a lot of assists and goals as well. But in Tony's absence, I think another player could benefit and benefit really well. And I think that could be Wissa. Last season, he made 38 appearances in the Premier League, but he only made 16 starts. He also scored 7 goals and averaged 1.8 shots per 90 last season. But now with more minutes up for grabs, these metrics, they could double this season. Due to also him being a wide player that can play centrally, I think his in-game switching with Mbeumo could be a little tactical gem for Brentford this year. We actually spoke about this in more detail in a video where I put forward 12 players that have been really, really strong in pre-season. According to the heat map of Mbeumo, there's a little crumb there for you. Go check out that video and then it'll all come together. Brighton, Pascal Gross. So important, yet so disrespected because he's not got the pace. Well, we should dream of these kind of players and respect them because they are wonderful human beings. They let us believe that we too, us other slow coaches, could be professional footballers. Pascal Gross may be one of the most disrespected footballers in the league outside of Brighton fans, obviously, who absolutely love him. Why wouldn't they? In pre-season, his role has been fascinating. He's played as an inverted right back, but also as part of the double pivot. The fact that De Zerbi always finds a place for him in the team shows how important he actually is. Another stat that gets looked over is that last season Gross had the most goal involvements for Brighton. 17 goals or assists. And none of those 9 goals were penalties. He's really good. Don't disrespect him again, okay? It's gross misconduct, you could say. Burnley. Josh Brownhill, company absolutely loves him. Now, we could well see a new tactical approach from Burnley this season with a possible move to a 4-4-2 on the horizon. Last season, Brownhill played as either an attacking centre midfielder or as part of a 3, or he played as a 10 within a 4-2-3-1. But this season, he could be forming a double pivot with a 4-4-2 formation. This means he'll be at the heart of everything Burnley do in midfield, but he'll have a dual role in terms of attack and defence. He got 15 goal involvements last season and could be an underrated goal threat next season despite playing in a 4-4-2. That's right, Burnley and 4-4-2 and the Premier League is back. Chelsea, key man Enzo Fernandez, he's him this season for Chelsea, with Chelsea having sold almost their entire midfield. Enzo is now the outstanding star within that midfield and will be so important for Chelsea in his skill set. He'll likely have Conor Gallagher next to him, whose main focus is going to be to move into the box in those latter stages. This means that all of the early build-up play will go through Enzo Fernandez. It also means that Enzo will likely be the recycler of possession. He's going to be Mr. 100 touches. That is a trademark phrase of Jimmy Allcott, okay? So if you hear other people saying Mr. 100 touches, tag me on Twitter, okay? Let's get something going. Maybe we'll start merch or something like that, I don't know. But Mr. 100 touches, that's Allcott's. Enzo's going to be Mr. 100 touches for Chelsea, and with the quality that he has, that is by no means a bad thing. Expect him to utilise his passing range and vision time and time again. Crystal Palace. One of my breakout stars this year, Matheus França. We're going to be bold people here, okay? Now, look, in all seriousness, it's a huge gamble to go with a new player. When Eze, he's just wonderful, isn't he? And he's just sitting right there, just scoring goals in pre-season. But let's get excited about a new guy. França was in the upper echelons of footballers outside of Europe last season, and his skill set and play style are just perfect for how he'll be used at Palace. So much so, we at the JLA channel put him forward as a player that Palace, yeah, club was correct, player was correct, should sign just a couple of months ago. And so we're riding that train forevermore. His FBref is absolutely glorious for starters. As a left winger, he's going to be invaluable in being a cutting edge in chance creation. He averaged 2.49 successful take-ons last year in Brazil, which is in the top 1% compared to others in similar leagues and in the top 5 European leagues. This is a player that will create chances from nothing. He loves a nutmeg as well. I think Palace will get more nutmegs than any other team in the Premier League this season. You heard it here first. Everton, Amadou Onana, he's only going to get better this season. Last season, Onana started the season incredibly well and demonstrated the value that he brought to the midfield, both in sort of destroying, but also in underrated technical ability in the final third. I think his technical ability could come in big next season, especially in the box as a unit. He's also a handful in aerial scenarios. I think genuinely Onana could get himself a handful of goals next season, as well as being a midfield dominator. I think it's perfect for what Dyche is trying to do, and that's why he's going to be so important. Fulham, Andreas Pereira, more important than Mitrovic? He asked the audience. Well, not only did Pereira get 10 goal involvements last season, but he was also so important in chance creation. He registered a total of 118 shot creating actions last season, which was the most of any Fulham player. What Andreas Pereira does in the 10 position, I don't think anyone else at Fulham is capable of. One other player that does need to be mentioned, I think, is Kenny Tete, genuinely one, if not the best right back outside the top 6. If you can think of someone else, let me know in the comments down below. Also, shout out to Polina, of course, who's just immense as part of the Fulham spine. Is it cheating if I put forward 3 players? I think it's good value. Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's my guy. The boy is mine this year. I own him. I'm backing him all the way. He is so unique in that role. He is so perfect in that role. I've watched a lot of Liverpool in pre-season. Let me tell you, they're going to score a lot of goals this year. But one of the main facilitators in all of it is Trent taking up central positions. But not only will Trent have a good season himself, but his positioning will get the best out of 3 or 4 other players in the process. Salah has looked like a creative beast in pre-season. Nunez, we've done a video on him. He can't stop scoring goals, and that's Trent's part of that. And McAllister, he's very subtle. I call him Mac the Knife. He has looked so silky in the final third. Now, tell me, Liverpool fans, how deep is your love for Trent? Well, this season it's going to get doubled. That's right. He's going to bring a hell of a lot to the table this year. Luton, Ryan Giles, another bold one, but so deserved in my opinion. And again, I don't like going for new signings in terms of a key player, but I think there are some exceptions, and I think Ryan Giles has to be one of them. The Luton attacking wing-back system is literally perfect for him, and he's been a joke in terms of chance creation, both from open play and set pieces for the last couple of seasons. Last season, he created 23 big chances in the Championship, and the season before that, he created 16. The edge that he gives Luton at set pieces is huge and could win him a few points this year. Luton fans, you've got to be you've got to be levitating right now. But I think, look, trust me, with Ryan Giles, I think he could allow Luton to feel at home at the Premier League this year. Manchester City, Erling Haaland, but wait, there's an extra level to this. Now, Haaland's goals, they can't be ignored. He will inevitably score a lot of goals this year, but there's another reason as to why he's going to be the key man for Man City. Last season, we saw Haaland demonstrate some excellent target man qualities at times, a lot less than you probably would have heard about, which allowed De Bruyne to play as a shadow striker. This could prove to be something that Man City rely on maybe heavily, and it could also become something that allows them to start Alvarez as well on a consistent basis, and the goals could rain down for Man City, which is not a rogue shout, but sort of rain more than like a heavy downpour instead of sort of the general strong downpour of previous seasons. Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, if you thought he was good before, wait until you see what he does this season. The signings of Man United, they are all leading to one thing, a 10 out of 10 season from Bruno Fernandes. So the Mount transfer is going to be fascinating in terms of Man United having more attackers in the final third, which may mean more space for Fernandes. But the Højlund transfer is the one that changes things. We did a video on Højlund and it's done really well actually, so you might enjoy it in terms of how he plays. He has shown that he drops deep to receive the ball and can become a bit of a link man. This could allow Bruno to make runs past him into the box. He also doesn't have to worry then about being the creator, of course, with Mount sitting there as well. Newcastle, Bruno Guimaraes, it had to be him. God, I love this guy. Now, I guess the temptation here would be to say Tonali because he's the new shiny thing, and we all know magpies love shiny objects. I'm sorry, okay? Now, joking aside, you just can't ignore Bruno Guimaraes' metrics from last season. Only Kieran Trippier with 260 made more progressive passes than Bruno Guimaraes in 222 last season. But Guimaraes is arguably more impressive because he was doing it in a central area where there's a lot more congestion. And now add in Tonali to the midfield with Guimaraes, and those progressive passes I think are going to do some serious damage this year. Notts Forest, it's a joke. Nottingham Forest, Morgan Gibbs-White. This is who to invest your stocks in this year. Now get on the MGW bandwagon, okay? Because this guy is going to dominate this season. The way he ended last season leads me to believe that this is going to carry on well into this season and span the whole season. And there's going to be a lot of transfer talk about this man next season, I think, with some of those top teams sniffing about. They always do, don't they? Now, he got 6 goal contributions in the final 7 matches of the Premier League last season. He just looks like a player who gets it. He works exceptionally hard too, so his impact on the team is greater than purely chance creation. 46% of the goals last season he was involved in. He is so important. And last season, it was just a little bit too close for comfort. But I think with survival last season, MGW will be a threat throughout the season. He's now Premier League proven, and I think he knows that as well. And when he knows that, or a player knows that, then they really can shoot up and show off their full potential. Sheffield United, Ollie Norwood. Now is his time. Because time and again, and we spoke about this on the Ripple Effect with Ali Maxwell from Not the Top 20 podcast, Norwood's he's never been given a fair crack of the whip in the Premier League, despite being crucial in all those promotion seasons. But now, he has to be the one. He's simply too good not to be starting every week, and with that, he offers a dictating tempo. I think it'd be great if you can get him up to the Mr. 100 touches level. But he also creates chances from deep. He's so important. Last season, he averaged 71 touches per 90, playing as the deepest midfielder, but also created 9 big chances as well as 1.8 key passes per 90. Tottenham Hotspur, and it's James Maddison. There's only one James Maddison. Quite literally. Because there is only one player like him within the Tottenham squad that offers what he does. The mood will be a lot better at Spurs this year. And Maddison will be one of the main protagonists for this. As we've mentioned a few times, Ange Ball requires an attack-minded midfielder who has quality in the final third. Maddison is the only player at Spurs who can do this to an elite level. This means he literally is their key man. And if he's not there, the system won't be as effective. That is one concern. He has had injury problems in the past. Hopefully he won't this season. West Ham, Lucas Paquetá. It has to be Lucas Paquetá. Build the team around him, David Moyes. West Ham have been playing a 4-4-2 in pre-season, and some may think that this will take away from Paquetá's ability to affect the game in the final third, but I don't think that this is going to be the case. In fact, I think it's going to massively help him. He's going to have so many more touches in more space and will be able to utilise his passing range and carrying ability freely and consistently. Last season, he only averaged 1.05 progressive carries per 90, but this year, playing in a deeper position, I think you could see him return to the 1.97 he averaged at Lyon. Wolves, Matheus Nunes, big shoes to fill here. It's slim pickings for Wolves, but I still think Nunes still has a lot of quality to offer this season. A lot of us are forgetting that Matheus Nunes was very good in the first half of last season and was even getting linked to Liverpool at the time. With Moutinho and Neves now gone, it's now time for Nunes to become the key man in midfield, and I think he's capable of doing it. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out parts 1 and part 2 of the Prem Guide. That is strengths and weaknesses. And have a great day.